My name is Brett Singer, and I'm a sports dietitian for Memorial Hermann Ironman Sports Medicine Institute, and today we're going to be talking about fueling the Ironman Triathlete. One of the first things you need to think about is how you're going to lead up to the race itself. So one of the first things you're going to want to do is make sure that you are carbohydrate loading leading up to the race, as well as making sure that you're hydrating appropriately leading up to the race. So when it comes to carb loading, typically what you'll do is you'll fuel for about 1 to 2 days in advance. Now the main thought process for a lot of triathletes is I'll have one really large meal the night before a race, but in actuality what we should probably be doing is, instead of that, having more carbohydrates at each of your meals for the 1 to 2 days leading up to the race. So now instead of breakfast having oatmeal with toast, maybe you're having oatmeal, toast, and a little bit of honey and a little bit of juice to go with it on the side. Instead of your standard salad with a little bit of meat, maybe you have baked potato to go with that. So now what we're doing is increasing our carbohydrate intake leading up to the race. And now what you can also do is decrease your overall vegetable intake leading up to the race, because realistically, non-starchy vegetables like your salads, your cauliflower, carrots, those sorts of things don't really help out with preparation for the race. They're not providing any real energy. So that's something that we can maybe reduce, whereas we increase our carbohydrate intake those final 1 to 2 days in advance. Once the race begins, it's really kind of a general goal that each triathlete's going to have. They're going to want to make sure that they're getting adequate carbohydrates throughout the race. The goal should be about 30 to 90 grams of carbohydrates per hour. And that's totally dependent on the individual and what they feel best with. So some may want to aim for the lower end of that. Some may want to aim for the higher end of that. If you're a faster triathlete, if you're really going pretty quick, you may want to aim towards the higher side, because that means you're going to be utilizing a lot more carbohydrates. For those that are going to be finishing in 16, 17 hours, they may want to aim for the lower side of that range, because they're using a bit more fat during the race because of the lower intensity at which they're going. Where they get the carbohydrates from is, again, up to individual preference. It can come from gels, sports drinks, blocks, solid foods. It's really up to them. Ultimately, what I would suggest is that any triathlete practice over the course of their training to make sure that they identify which amounts and which types of sources of energy are going to be best for them.